How's everybody doing? There we go. We're doing things a little bit differently tonight. So if it looks a little different, that's why. I'm broadcasting through StreamYard now. I hope everything is coming through very clearly. I'm just going to make sure. Let me know if you can't hear me. Because I had my microphone muted, but it's a very, very different way of doing things now that I'm doing things through StreamYard. So hopefully you guys can all hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you can't, though. I see we have Susie Lopez and Christian Spencer already in the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if there's more people coming in, that'd be great. I didn't have a lot of time to promote this show tonight, so I'm not sure how many people we will necessarily get in tonight, but that's okay. Been very, very, very busy lately. But how have you guys been? How's Christian doing, and how's Susie? It looks like you guys were chatting between yourselves there for a bit, so that's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, got the metal horns from Christian. There you go. So hope you guys are having a good week, and we'll have a fun show tonight. Trying things with StreamYard because I plan on having guests on my show. That's why we're doing it this way, and this is the only way I can actually add people to my stream, which is kind of cool, I think. So that's why I'm doing it this way. I think next week I will actually get to have my first guest, which will be awesome. That'll be very awesome. Definitely tune in for that show for sure. But I guess you guys can hear me okay, so that's good. So I know I didn't screw up the microphone or anything like that. I've been known to do that when I try new things. You know, there's a couple times I did tried to do new things, and you guys were like, I can't hear you anymore. Which is all good. It happens. I'm still using OBS for some stuff, and that would include plugging my good friend Michelle Appollonia from Breathless Beauties, for example. So I use that to show her graphics at least. You've seen it before, but I'll show it again. I gotta plug her because she is so awesome, and I really love her work. I do. I love her work a lot. Brett Man with the Brett from Good Real Hunt. Go subscribe to Brett's channel, by the way. Good Real Hunting's a great channel. A lot of great channels. There's so many great channels out there that I'm good buddies with now. So I definitely plug all these channels as much as I can. Good Real Hunting, Jason Knight, the J-Man's Movie Cave. I've been on his channel a couple of times. Fachi's Cinema, Filthy Dan's Filthy Dan channel, whatever his channel is called, Filthy Dan's. Man, House of the Living Dead, all great channels. Braden Timmons, James Grimm. Go support all those guys. Of course. We're all good pals in the YouTube world. So always give those guys a plug. And also give a plug to Michelle. The other Michelle, who I don't see in the chat tonight either, but a lot of these people said they might be working right now. So maybe moving to 7 wasn't the best. I don't know. You guys all gave me the thumbs up last week, so we'll see who else we get in the chat. But Michelle's art from Miss 44. Make sure to go check out her Facebook page. Links are in the description for all these places, all these pages. Very, very cool stuff. I really like obscure stuff, so that's why I like supporting these kind of things. It's very artistic, It's very abstract. I love that kind of stuff. So I support it. I definitely support it. Hey, we got Feltrick Fence and Degree Centigrade also joined the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. Glad you guys could make it. Didn't miss anybody else in the chat though, right? Yeah, I'm very new to the StreamYard format. Bear with me. Bear with me. I will get the hang of it. It's a little bit more multitasking for me to do, but I'll get there. But how are you guys doing? How's Feltrick Fence doing, and how is Degree Centigrade doing? Hopefully you guys are doing good. And if you guys ever feel like sharing your real names with me, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. It's all good. And also want to shout out to my fellow independent filmmakers that are still doing Indiegogo campaigns. Links for all those fan films are in the description, along with the new Sawyer Massacre Indiegogo campaign as well. I do believe, though, that James Grimm's My Special Boy campaign has ended now, I think. The link is still in there, but I'm not sure if you can still support that one for the Friday the 13th fan film. I think it may have ended a couple of days ago, unfortunately, but that's okay. I think Haddonfield Nightmare is still funding. I believe Halloween Evil Lives is still funding. So the Halloween fan films are funding right now, guys. If you guys are Halloween fans, get on these. Their links are in my description, and they look pretty cool. So definitely get on those. And then we've got the My Bloody Valentine fan film as well that's in demand. So they've hit their goal, and they're reaching stretch goals now. So congrats to them. But you can still support them, get a Blu-ray or a T-shirt, or get killed by the miner. All that kind of fun stuff if you want to support them too. There you go. Feltrick Fans is doing pretty good. Awesome. And so, yeah, our Indiegogo campaign is now live now as well, guys. You can go support that. We've had a decent start. In fact, we've actually pretty much had a double good start than actually shows on there, because we had somebody invest privately, and we posted him today. He got the Leatherface perk, so he's gonna get to be Leatherface for a kill. And he wanted extra with it, so he paid a little extra with it as well. But he did that over PayPal. So yeah, so that's so we're actually doing pretty good. We are doing good, but we'd like to hit our Indiegogo goals. Not just it's nice that when we get stuff like that, but hit other goals on the Indiegogo campaign, and we want to stick to those, even though we got more than that with that extra donation, but our goal is to be 10% funded by tomorrow night. So share like crazy. Get us there. We're not that far off, though. We're at 8%. We just need to be at 10%. But today is Freebie Friday. Do I have a graphic for that? No, I don't have a graphic for that, do I? I didn't share one. But we did add a new perk also the other day. If you want to be in our film, who doesn't want to be in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film? If you want to be in our film, but you don't have the $500 to fork out to be one of the back to be that Leatherface, or get killed on screen like some people do, we've added the background extra perk. That's about $100 US only. So you get to be in the film, you get your face shown on film, but you're just in the background. You don't get killed by Leatherface. You don't have any dialogue. Well, there might even be a little bit of dialogue, actually. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is something we're planning for a background extra scene. So that's even still possible. You might even still get your voice heard on camera. Maybe. And that's only $100. $100. So we added that to the campaign for reaching our first campaign goal. And you can expect some more interesting perks to show up on the campaign as well. But this is just a 30-day campaign, guys. So we got a little bit of urgency with it. We want to hit the goal this time. I think we can do it. We had a decent enough start, and I know we got some good backers coming up pretty quick too. So we're doing good. Nobody new in the chat. Okay, at least unless I'm not doing this chat properly on here, but it's different on StreamYard than it is than is in the OBS. I guess I can go over to the other thing, but It looks the same. So looks like we're okay. As long as you guys can hear and see me, and yeah, sure, you got the StreamYard logo, whatever, because I'm not an upgraded member. Hope that doesn't bother you guys. I'm okay with the StreamYard logo being in the corner if you guys are. But uh, it's gonna be one of those shows tonight, isn't it? We do also have we might have some other cool things happening as the campaign goes along. I actually wanted to do like a Instagram live and a Facebook live today, but man, I just got so swamped. I was a guest on a podcast today. Shout out to Swift Current Podcast, my buddy Devin, who has that podcast. Definitely make sure you go check that out when it airs. I'm not sure when it's going to air. He said probably early July, but I'll share links when it does go up. So you definitely check that out. I think it's going to be on Spotify and stuff like that. I like doing podcasts. They're kind of fun. We just kind of sit and talk about horror, and I talk about the Sawyer Massacre a bit. It's fun. I like doing podcasts. So sorry I didn't do an Instagram live for those of you who were thinking I was going to do one, because I know I did tell some people that I was going to do one today. My apologies. I did not get to it. Maybe next time. Maybe. We'll see. But we do have some interesting stuff planned in the future. We're actively searching for locations right now. I've got about 4 or 5 different people scouting in and around the Austin area. So we might have our main location soon. We're getting close. We're getting close, guys. I really want to be able to share that with you. But a little bit of, I guess you could say this is a little bit of bad news, but I kind of look at it as good news a little bit too, but I don't know. Take it as you will. But we got word here in Canada that the border is not going to be opening up anytime soon, and we won't find out anything else until July 21st, which is a ways away. It's further away than I feel for comfort. So no matter what, we're not going to be shooting this film in September. That shoot day is out. Possibly October, and that is a slim chance. If that's a very slim chance. If we don't hear on July 21st that the border's opening up, then we're pushing it to the spring. Now at the same time, I don't mind pushing it to the spring because I want to make sure all our pieces are put together just perfectly, and they're not yet. They're not there yet. We still have to get our locations, like I said. We're getting our masks made for the leather face masks, which is kind of cool. That's being done pretty much over the next month, and it's already started. We have 4 though we have to make. Hey, there's Mandy Cantone. There we go. I'm starting to see stuff a little bit better here on StreamYard. In case you just didn't notice, I'm streaming through StreamYard today, because I'm trying to get used to it, because in the future, I plan on having guests. Maybe we'll have you on. Maybe. I've actually thought of having putting that as a perk on the campaign, to be a guest on my show. That might be cool. I don't know. You guys let me know if you think that's a cool perk idea or not. Let me know. But yeah, what was I talking about again? Just about us having to push the movie shoot. So I mean, I wanted to shoot in September, but again, all the pieces have to be together, and obviously the border doesn't look like it'll be open in time for that, with me being in Canada and 2 of our actors coming from Canada as well. So I hate to push it all the way to March, but we might have to, and I don't think you guys would be too bummed if we have to push it all the way in March. It's better that we make it right rather than make it rushed, and we want to be ready. And I'm happy enough that we've raised enough funds to film it in Texas, but at the same time, we got to make sure we're still ready. You can have the funds, but if you don't have all the pieces put together, then it's going to be a gong show, and we don't want that. we want to make sure everything's right. And another thing is we got word that one of our cast members is not going to be backing out, unfortunately. So we have to recast a role too. So if any of you guys know any good 18, 19-year-old young guys from in Texas that want to act in a movie that are good though, we'll be taking auditions for that. I'd like to audition a few, but we'll see. We'll see what we get. I just don't really have time to do an audition casting call right now in the middle of an Indiegogo campaign. But we'll see. We'll see. So, anyways, how are you guys all doing? That's awesome. That's all. That sounds awesome, Steve. That's good to know. So yeah, I just want to be ready to film, and the news we got today was we actually thought that they were going to say the opposite thing, because it's not that bad here in Canada. We don't have a ton of COVID cases, but our government is being super cautious. We're talking like super cautious because, I mean, last year our cases went down and then we opened everything up, and well, all of a sudden the cases went way up again. So it's a caution thing, guys. It's a caution thing, and in a way, I can't blame our government too much. But I want to shoot this movie, damn it, I do. You guys want us to shoot this movie, but there's still a chance we'll make October work. If October doesn't work, then we're pushing it to the spring. We're pushing it to March because I don't want to shoot it over winter. I've got a new baby come on the way. I don't know if I told you guys that before. Yes, I have a new child on the way. My wife is pregnant, and the baby's due in November. Could even come by late October, but the due date is like November 10th, something like that, or November 6th. Sorry, I think. So yeah, we're having a new kid. I don't want to be in Texas when my kid is born. So you guys can understand that. So if we can't make like October 1st work, we're pushing it to. We'll be pushing it to March, basically. And you guys are okay with that, right? There's not a ton of people in the chat tonight so far, though. This is actually the smallest chat we've had in a little while, I think. Yeah, I think 5 people in the chat right now. If I'm looking at this thing right. Again, OBS is... no, sorry, StreamYard is such a different beast that it's hard for me to tell. Have to go over to a different chat thing and whatever. So it's all good. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about as far as all that goes. But we can definitely say we're shooting in Texas now. Like I said, even our Indiegogo, even though it hasn't even broke 1,000 US yet, but we did get another investment. Somebody took one of the Leatherface perks privately rather than on the Indiegogo, and that definitely gets us in a good position. Definitely gets us in a good position. So we're pretty excited about that. And yeah, congratulations, glad you guys are having a baby. Yeah, I'm glad I am too. It's busy time for us though. It's gonna make it that much busier. So I don't know. I do kind of feel like if we have to push the movie shoot to March, I won't be too upset about it. And I don't think you guys sound like you're going to be too upset about it. We have a lot of backers, so I will definitely let excuse me, guys. I'll let each and every one of our backers know that I'll send out a grand email to everybody that we're probably shooting in March. We're probably going to shoot in March instead. Because again, all the pieces have to be there. It's not even just the border. It's the fact that we have to recast one of our roles. It's the fact that we have to make sure our locations are secured. Even all of our props, we still haven't got all our props found yet that we need. So, I mean, there's a few things that have to come together. The props aren't a big deal. We know that those things will come together, but you know, the making sure the cast is in place, that's a big one. It is. And the border, of course, is huge. It's huge. And locations. I'm being picky with my main location. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I mean, you guys see that creepy house we shot it in the teaser trailer, right? You guys know what I'm talking about with that house. Susie Lopez says congratulations as well. Oh, we got Al in the fence. Al in the in the chat. I miss speaking a lot tonight. When's the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre due out? I have no idea. We're going to talk a little bit about it, though, because I've heard a couple things here and there. So we will talk about that amongst what the main topic is, but we are going to talk about that as well, because I have heard a couple things. Thank you for the congratulations, though, guys. It's we're excited for it. And Lazy Reviewer Carlos also says, congratulations. Thank you for tuning in as well. And by the way, I don't think I even mentioned, if you haven't yet hit that like button, please do. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. We can always use more subscribers. I like my channel growing if we can. It's done better than I thought it ever would, though, mind you, when I first started doing this. So, but I do appreciate it if you do. And if you're one of our trolls that we get from time to time, you can hit that dislike button for me as well. It all helps the algorithm. I haven't seen the trolls for a while, though. I don't know. Did I lose them? I may have lost them. I don't know. We were getting so many trolls there for a while, and then all of a sudden, they disappeared. I kind of miss them already. No, I don't miss them. I don't miss them, guys. Because even though it doesn't hurt my feelings or anything like that, it's just kind of annoying. You know what I mean? I almost wish they had something intelligent to say instead of your movie will suck or you're gonna shoot your movie on a flip phone or something. You know, I say something more intelligent. You know, that way at least makes it interesting. But whatever, it's all good. Okay. So yeah, as far as the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre goes, now I have no idea when it's coming out, and I have no idea if this little tidbit I heard was true, but somebody said that there is actually a trailer coming next month. I'd take it with a grain of salt, but this person said he knows that there's a trailer coming next month for the film. So I doubt that it's true, but there's always a possibility. So don't get excited and thinking, oh boy, maybe the trailer is coming. I doubt it, guys. I do doubt it. But somebody heard from somebody, heard from somebody, heard that kind of thing. That's what it feels like, anyways. I don't think it was a reliable type of source, but in fact, I think it was somebody who commented probably on one of my Facebook posts. I have to go back and figure out where that was now, but they said the trailer's coming in July. I'm like, are you sure? we don't have a release date yet, so we don't know if it's coming out this year. My gut says we're nearly halfway through the year, guys, and if we don't have a release date at this point, it's probably not coming out this year. It does say it's completed though on IMDb, so that makes me think they're probably not gonna do reshoots. So if I was to put money, if I was a betting man and if I was to put money on this, guys, I would say they're not going to do the reshoots and they're going to just drop the movie in January and hope for the best and try to cut their losses. That's what my heart tells me. I don't know for sure though. I can't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. That's where I would put my money if I was to guess. But you never know. There's a lot of people out there saying that they are doing reshoots. So they might be. But man, doesn't sound like it's even worth doing reshoots. It's going to be more expensive. Unless it was already budgeted for it, which it may very well have. So it was put that it had a $20 million budget. That's not very much though. So you got to think reshoots for something like this is going to cost more than you'd think. But you never know. Al says Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D and the Leatherface prequel was terrible. I agree, my friend. I agree. Those to me are the worst. I know a lot of people will put Next Generation as the worst. No, for me, Millennium Films did the impossible. They made not just one film worse than Next Generation. They made 2 films worse than Next Generation. So I don't know. Christian Spencer says, I think Scream 5 is coming out in January of 2022. I thought it was supposed to come out this year. Really? That's not good news, just so you guys. I know it's not the same as it used to be with the January releases, but typically if I hear a movie has been moved from a 2021 release to January of the next year, that typically means it's dog shit. I hate to say it, guys. That typically means it's dog shit. They don't want to put it in a good spot. January is where Hollywood traditionally dumps their crappy movies. So now, not necessarily every movie is bad that comes out in January. Sometimes they'll have a release in January that was slotted for that release time, and it'll actually be good. Originally slotted for that, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was supposed to come out sometime this year. They never set a release date, but it was set this year, and I don't think it's coming this year, guys. I could be wrong. You just never know, but I don't think it's coming this year, guys. I don't think so. Al, I think Scream will blow TCM away. If they're both released in January, yeah, I think Scream's got more hype behind it right now. I've heard a lot more hype for Scream 5 than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I feel like it's because they're kind of trying to hide what's going on with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They were kind of lightly promoting it a little bit, with, announcing who's cast as Leatherface, announcing that Sally is returning, which, I had already known about, and the big fuck up on IMDb and all that kind of stuff. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this in my last stream, but I also noticed on their IMDb that there's 2 people cast as Melody, I believe. So, I mean, just probably another fuck up. Maybe there's 2 characters named Melody in the movie, but it's not a common thing to happen. But you never know. I think it's another fuck up, personally. Just my thoughts. Whoever's doing their IMDb stuff is like out to lunch. But it is what it is. Oh yeah, Christian says Rob Zombie's making a monster. Hey, you never know, it might be good. I'm not a Rob Zombie fan, so but Monsters is a different kind of movie. It wouldn't be funny if the Monsters movie is actually really good and Rob Zombie finds new life, breathes new life into Rob Zombie because it's that good, and maybe he's going to make a whole different style of films. Because I don't know. I know a lot. I know Rob Zombie has his fans. I'm not one of them. I wanted to be. I tried to be. I thought after I watched his first movie that this is a guy with potential, but he needs to get better. And I figured he would get better every time. And every time I kept watching a new one of his films, it just let me down more. I don't know, but I know that he has his fans, but it's not. I think his films are just not for me. At the end of the day, I think they're just not for me. But we might mention Rob Zombie here in a bit when we talk about who should direct a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Let me just read what Al said here, though, first. I actually don't have as many chatters tonight, so I can actually address pretty much every comment in the chat tonight. I did try to promote this as much as I could, but with the Indiegogo campaign going on, it's not been the easiest. But I see John from Doomsday Kingdom Army just arrived. Hey, John, how you doing? We're going to chat tomorrow, aren't we? That'll be fun. That'll be awesome, actually. But Al says, has anyone seen the 1982 Alone in the Dark? It was good. I loved it. Great cast, nice soundtrack, and terrifying film. Campy fun. It's, you know what? It sounds really familiar. I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen it and just can't really remember. It's one of those, I bet if I watch the trailers for it or something like that, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember that movie. There's so many films like that from that time period that I've seen, but it's like I can't remember the names of them for the life of me or whatever. So, yeah, just I wouldn't be surprised if I had. I'm going to have to check that out. You know what? I'll send me a DM after this and send me any links if you can. So I'd be interested to check it out. Yeah, it'll be a good time, says John. Yeah, good stuff. One thing I am noticing about this, though, guys, as far as StreamYard goes, I'm not seeing as much latency. I feel like I'm getting your comments a little bit faster than I normally do through OBS. That's pretty cool. Just saying. Yeah, John, you probably didn't even know I'm streaming through StreamYard this time. This is a new experience for me because I plan on having guests in the future, and actually, you could be one of them. We should set up a date for you to be a guest on the show. I think I already have a guest set for next week, though. I think I'll announce it throughout the week, and we'll see. We haven't totally confirmed it yet, though. What does Christian say here? Steve, what year is your favorite for the horror movie? Or what decade or year? You got year, then you got your decades. I assume you mean decades. I'd have to go 70s because my top 3 horror films are from the 70s, being Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Black Christmas, and Halloween. Those are my top 3 horror films. So I probably, by default, the fact that my top 3 are in the 70s, makes the 70s my favorite. But I do like movies, some movies from the 90s. Big fan of the Blair Witch Project and Misery. Misery of Silence of the Lambs. All 7 movies like that are awesome from the 90s. I dig a lot of 80s stuff. So I mean, it just depends, it just depends. So yeah. Hey, Chris Snyder's here. Hey man, how you doing? Welcome to my first stream on StreamYard. My first time ever on StreamYard, because I plan on having guests in the future, and this I can't do it just with OBS, so I'm doing it this way tonight. It'll be new for StreamYard too, says John. There you go. Okay, so I want to keep this conversation pretty interactive with you guys as much as we possibly can. I want to know your thoughts, who you guys think should direct a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. So, looking at what we know with the new film, it's directed by a guy by the name of David Blue Garcia, who I believe has only actually directed one other film, and he's got a ton of work as a cinematographer. Interesting, but only one film. It looks like he's mostly an indie guy, which is good. But I kind of think you need a little bit more than one film before stepping into Texas Chainsaw Massacre shoes, in my opinion. How you liking StreamYard so far? I love it. That's what we use, and it's so user friendly. Yeah, it's a little bit of getting used to. I feel like I have to be in a few more at least one more place at the same time, but I'm gonna get used to it. That's for sure. It's different. And I have to have that StreamYard logo wherever here. Yeah, here. I don't know where I am here. There we go, right there. I have to have that logo there, which is kind of whatever. But unless I can upgrade, I guess. I think if I upgrade, I don't have to have it. But yeah. John from Doomsday Kingdom Army says, I know I'll get Texas Chainsaw Massacred for saying I think Rob Zombie could do it well. You're not going to get Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I disagree with it, though. I do disagree. I know a lot of people think that Rob Zombie will do it well. I don't. I think his hillbilly kind of style, you'd probably think it would work, but yeah. You seem to be getting the messages quicker now. Yes, I am. It does. There's less latency, which I do like that factor. David R. Ellis, The Final Destination 2, and Shark Night. Is that a pick for directing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film? That's an interesting thought. Jimmy Presley's Indie Film Cover. Hey, Indie Film Corner. I said cover. Sorry, buddy. My buddy Jimmy Presley. I love Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy. Jimmy's an awesome guy. He's been one of our promoters on the Sawyer Massacre. Thank you for coming in tonight there, Jimmy. What's up? LO? Yeah, there you go. I knew what you meant. Jimmy. Don't worry about correcting yourself. It's all good. Just this is my first. Actually, Jimmy tested StreamYard with me to do guests on. So thank you, Jimmy, for being my guinea pig for that as well. That was fun. We'll get you on the show sometime too. I like the idea of having guests in the future now because I don't know. It's I like doing the show by myself. I'm not going to stop doing this show by myself, guys, but I like to talk to people. Steve Merlo could direct it. We're not going to talk about me. I could, but we're not going to talk about me. And the fact is, Hollywood would never take me. I know that. Unless I do really, really awesome with the Sawyer Massacre, then they might actually call me. They might. Have to do really, really awesome with it, though. But yeah, I do I understand why people think that Rob Zombie is a good choice for doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. I just don't think he is. I think he's too explicit for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. He's too in your face, and um, that's similar along the lines of the sequels and stuff like that. A little bit more, not so much the original. And I think you need a filmmaker that can actually capitalize on the uncomfortable feeling that the original does. You know, that disturbing feel. Whereas, you know, I'll be honest, guys. Rob Zombie has never made anything that ever scared me in the slightest. It's not scary in any way to me. It's just very explicit, in my opinion. It's hot in here, so I forgot to turn my AC on. Darn it! I knew I forgot something. It's been a very scrambly day today, guys. Was on a podcast earlier and had a meeting with somebody over a video chat. That those conversations end up longer than I think they're going to be. I'm sure John and I are going to have a long conversation tomorrow too. Who knows? But I'm a little bit weary about this David Blue Garcia jumping into making this film, and I feel like the reason was um, the studio needed somebody that they can kind of bully into making this film, or make it their way. Make the film that they want to make, because as we know, the previous directors that were hired for this film were the Tohill brothers, Andy and Ryan Tohill. Not that they have a huge um, uh, list of films behind them as well. They have a few more, though. They do have a few more. And they have a movie that has a lot of praise behind it called The Dig. I haven't seen it yet. If any of you guys have actually seen the Dig, I would like to know your thoughts. I'm still trying to find it somewhere. I'm not sure what platform it's on. I've heard some people say it's on Tubi, but then I searched it on Tubi and I couldn't find it. Maybe Tubi is different in Canada. I don't know. Ooh, Doom, John says Frank from The Shawshank Redemption. Sure, hacked his spelling. Yeah, it doesn't look quite right, but I know who you're talking about. I love The Shawshank Redemption. I'd have to think about that. I wouldn't. You wouldn't think it. But now that I think about it, what other films did he do? The Green Mile as well? Maybe that's an interesting choice. That is an interesting choice. But I do have some ideas on who I think would be good as well. So I'm interested. I like that. That's an interesting one. That's the most interesting one I would have thought to have heard as a possible director. Christian Spencer says, Steve, I started watching TCM Family Portrait. Oh, he was oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good documentary, by the way, Christian. I love that documentary. I owned it. In fact, I still own it somewhere. I think it's up in my attic on a DVD. I don't play DVDs very much anymore because they always never work properly for me for whatever reason. He was the showrunner in the first two seasons. First few seasons of The Walking Dead. I take it that's what TWD what means. I think, which I've never got really into. I'm just not a huge zombie guy, but I mean, I love The Shawshank Redemption. It's one of my all-time favorite films of all time. It's easily in my top 5 films of all time. Top 3, actually. I would rate my top 3 films. The Big Lebowski is my number 1. Those of you who know me know how much I love The Big Lebowski and why it's my number 1. The Godfather. And then Shawshank Redemption would be right after that. And that's so, I mean, even though I'm not familiar with a lot of Frank Darabont's catalog of films, you can't deny what a great film that is, based off the novella by Stephen King. Really awesome movie. It's a great movie. So, and I could see aspects of why he would actually be good for doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. I would have to study it a little bit more closely. I'd have to look at more of his work before I could say for sure, though. Getting a few people saying different things. John Carl. I don't know who that is. I have. What movies has he made, Jimmy? So we are talking. They can be indie filmmakers, but they can't be indie filmmakers at my level. We'll just say that unknowns, that have just pretty much funded their own films. Now, after I make the Sawyer Massacre, I might actually qualify, but until I do, um, I I don't qualify because I've only made one feature film and off a 10K budget, Canadian 10K, so it's like uh, 1K US. No, it's about 8K US, I think. But I've only made one feature film for around there, and we never released it because it's has too many technical flaws to it because we didn't have enough money to. We didn't have enough money to cover good audio. It was a lesson learned kind of film. It was way too ambitious for a 10K budget. We did actually complete filming it though. The worst thing is probably the audio. The audio is just not going to cut it, unfortunately, and that's why we wouldn't. Christian Spencer also said Steven Spielberg. Well, you know what? I like it. I like it only because even though I would never see Steven Spielberg directing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, I know that he loves the movie. He absolutely loves the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he can do anything. I feel like he truly is a director that can do anything. If somebody could make a proper Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, that's actually, I know he's a big Hollywood superstar director, the biggest probably of all time. But I bet if any big studio Hollywood director could do it, he's the guy. He's the guy. I wouldn't pick Scorsese, I wouldn't pick Tarantino. No, Spielberg would be the only Hollywood director that could really do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. I actually have to say, man, Christian, you're actually right, and I was never not even thinking that. I wasn't even thinking that because I I don't think of you don't think of somebody like Steven Spielberg for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but when you really think about it, he could do it, and he's old school, right? So he would go back to those proper techniques, even though he loves the technology and everything of today. Um, he also loves that kind of filmmaking as well. So I actually think that's actually a pretty good choice. Yeah, if any real studio Hollywood director could do it, it's Spielberg. Yeah. Problem with horror, especially nowadays, I have no confidence in Hollywood having hands on TCM, yeah, or any classic horror franchise. Yeah, you know what? I'm too. But again, with Spielberg, though, he's a guy that won't have any studio interference. So a lot of these guys that are making films these days for big studios have a lot of studio interference. Unless you truly are at that level, like a Scorsese or a Spielberg, that type of level where you have that creative control. Unless you're that big, the studio is making the film. It's not the director. I mean, it might have the director's name on it, and the directors sometimes will do them because it'll give them opportunities to do other films that they actually want to do in return. But for the most part, if you were to hear that, who's a good example? Even the guy that they got as producer, Fede Alvarez, if he was to actually direct it, which he didn't, I bet they offered it to him and he probably turned it down, but they gave him the producer role because, anyways. Oh, spelling could be good. Okay, I don't on the Seth Rogen. You're kidding with Seth. I love Seth Rogen, but man, no. Fellow Canadian though, we're actually he's not from too far away from me. So yeah, but no. There is one Canadian director I could see. I'll talk about him in a bit, but that's even on the outs a little bit. Um, what was I talking about again? I lost my train of thought. It's because I was looking at the chat. Damn you guys. Damn you guys. But I love looking at the chat. I love chatting with you guys. What was I talking about again? Talking about, we were, what's a good popular director today? Um, uh, we had somebody and I forgot who it was already. Jordan Peele, there's a good one. Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, qualified director, very funny man too, by the way. I kind of starting to miss his comedy stuff a little bit. I did like Get Out though. I did like Get Out. Us, not so much. It was maybe a little bit. It was a little strange for me. It was very symbolic, a lot of symbolism, which I like to a point. To a point, it was maybe a little over the top for me and a little bit too. It was okay, but it's not something memorable. Like for me, it wasn't as memorable as Get Out. But if you want to, going back to John's, he says he has problems with Hollywood doing these films. I want to touch on that a little bit too. Here's the thing. Hollywood doesn't seem to know how to make things scary anymore. I haven't been scared by a horror film. I don't remember the last one I truly found scary. Maybe the Blair Witch Project, and that's not a studio film. Yeah. I haven't been scared by a movie in a long time. And it's not that that there aren't good movies coming out. Like we were just talking about Jordan Peele and Get Out. I liked Get Out. I liked it. It was a clever concept. I liked the concept, but I didn't find it scary. I wanted to. I want to find some of these movies scary. Maybe the scariest movie, and this is slightly scary, maybe slightly, was 10 Cloverfield Lane with John, and that's because John Goodman was freaking scary in that movie. I know a lot of people don't like the ending, and that's subjective. I actually don't really have a huge problem with the ending, but I know why people do, and I get it. But that might be the scariest movie I've seen over the last decade, scary wise, and it's not that scary. It's scary because John Goodman was good in that movie. He was good. If John Goodman wasn't so awesome in that movie, it wouldn't have been as scary. It wouldn't. Plain and simple. You put somebody else in that role, that wouldn't have been as scary either. I think Hollywood doesn't understand certain nuances that you really need to make something kind of creepy and scary. And I don't know. I just want to be scared by these movies, and I'm not. I'm really not. I really want to be, but I'm not. Even some of the ones I really like, hey, Joe from Fancoria Faithful is in the house as well. How are you doing, Joe? How you doing, my man? My man who did all the cool art, the posters and stuff for us, our logo. Love him. So give Joe some love, everybody. Okay. I was kind of getting off track a little bit, but you guys get what I'm saying. I don't know, but everybody's scared by different things, and I think that Hollywood is just not catering to what scares me, I guess. I think that's what it boils down to, because I keep thinking I'm going to find a movie on Netflix, and I'm going to watch and be like, oh, this is so good. This is so scary. And it never is. I never get there. You guys suggest some for me. Please. Suggest some movies for me. I've been meaning to still check out the Toe Hills movie, The Dig. I heard awesome things about it. But I can't find it anywhere. So I got to find that first. But, a lot of people suggested watching like Midsommar. I watched that one and I was like, this is not for me. I don't know what it was. It was not for me. It had a lot of symbolism in it too. But the story just didn't grasp me, I think, at the end of the day. I got it. It was basically a terrible breakup, and I've been there, so I like it, but it's not scary to me. And they showed too much stuff. I felt like you're showing too much gore. You have to show the gore. I don't feel like you have to, but they felt like they did. showed it too much. Too, they, you think you're done seeing the gore, and then they show it again. I think that's too much. But in my opinion, though, anyways, so part of me is wondering if the Toe Hills would have actually been the right choice for making a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Fede Alvarez actually praised them quite a bit for their vision and their visual style when they're in the early stages of the film. He was giving them lots of praise and saying it's going to be a dirty, gritty, something like that. I don't know. I can't remember the exact quote, but Fede Alvarez was saying it'll be a movie that sticks with you forever or something like that. And that gave me hope, guys. It gave me hope for this film. Seeing more suggestions. I'm going to read them all in a little bit here, guys. But so I want to talk about this first because there's a part of me that thinks that what they were filming may have been a good movie. Who knows? And you never know. There's also the possibility that their footage won't be scrapped after all, because I know they filmed for about a week before they got canned by the studio, because they didn't go with the studio's vision, for whatever reason. Creative differences, that's fine. But maybe after these damn test screenings that went very, very poorly, maybe the studio might look at their footage and say, maybe we were wrong about these guys. Who knows? And hire them back to finish their movie, to do reshoots and finish the movie that they were making, and maybe it'll actually be good. There's a part of me that thinks that could happen. Now, I doubt it, but you got to wonder if that's on the studio's mind at all, that maybe they're thinking, maybe the studio heads are thinking, maybe we made the wrong choice in firing these guys. Just because they weren't going to our formula. And we know what that formula is now. It's pretty much 100% confirmed that the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre was copying the Halloween 2018 formula. That's pretty much confirmed, guys, from more than one source. I'm not saying that all the sources I have are like, big reliable source, but I've talked to somebody who actually worked on the movie, and he basically said that that's what they're doing. So, for the most part, that's what they were doing, was taking that exact formula. That's why Sally's in it, guys. Sally's basically Laurie Strode in the new Halloween. I hate to spoil that for you, but if you didn't watch the Mr. H reviews video on that, which you may ever may not, but essentially that's what they're doing with Sally, is to make her like Laurie Strode was in Halloween 2018, which I think is an awful idea, by the way. An awful idea. Anyways, let's read some of the suggestions you guys are. I like the suggestions you guys are coming up with, though. Mandy Cantone says Darren Lynn Bousman. I actually don't know who that is. Man, you guys are gonna have to send me some links now, guys. You'll have to send me some links. Joe from Fangoria Faithful says Spencer Ty. Or are you talking to somebody else? I don't know. Oh, or you're talking to Christian. I misread that. I think you're talking to Christian Spencer, is what, and you're saying Spencer. Thank you, sir. One of those days. One of those days. You guys chat amongst yourselves so much. Did I miss any other suggestions? I thought this is so weird doing it on. It's different on StreamYard than it is on YouTube. My honest fave, John Carl Bouchler, is Friday the 13th Part 7. Oh, okay, he did that one. That was what, New Blood? Is that New Blood? Let me know if I'm right on that. I think that's one of the Friday the 13th movies I haven't seen. If it is New Blood, which I've heard good things about that one. But I don't think I've seen that one. That's one of the very few. I haven't seen that one, and I haven't seen Jason X. Which should I? But I should probably see New Blood. But it's Friday the 13th is never really been my franchise. I like a couple films, but yeah. No other suggestions there for. That's okay. I'd vote for Neil Marshall for sure if you're looking for suggestions. Yeah. Who's Neil Marshall? What has he done? Joe, let me know. Mandy's suggestion was somebody who did some of the Saw films, including Spiral. He did the latest one, eh? And he did okay. I've heard of these movies. I haven't seen them though. Well, I've seen some of the Saw movies, but I don't know if I've seen any of the ones that he did. Depends on which ones he did. Yeah, one of my producers is actually friends with somebody who did. I think it was Jigsaw. That one of the later Saw movies. Can't remember the guy's name, but he's friends with him, and so little network thing. But he's one of Anyways, wonder if Kevin Sullivan would do a TCM film. Carlos from Lazy Review says Jason X is guilty pleasure. Steve, have you checked out Redwood Massacre on Tubi? Yes. Didn't like it. I didn't like it. I think I got the right one. There's a couple of these massacre ones that I've seen. I've seen a couple on YouTube, and I think I didn't see Redwood Massacre on Tubi. I think it was on Netflix when I saw it, but it's probably on Tubi now. It's probably not on Netflix anymore. Wouldn't be surprised. Hey, Miss Carter's in. I believe that's Miss Carter. I'm seeing you as MC now, but it's Miss Carter, right? Yes, it is. How are you doing this evening? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're having a good little chat. My first time on StreamYard, so that's why you see the StreamYard logo up here somewhere. I'm kind of off-centered today, aren't I? See, it's all different with me being on StreamYard. Everything is so different. I don't have my positioning right or anything. It's just so different that I gotta get used to it. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Guys, remember, hit that like and subscribe if you can. If you want to. You don't have to. You guys have all been on my channel a million. I don't think we have any new chatters and any newbies in tonight. Al from earlier might have been. I don't recognize, and I don't remember an Al before. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, what were we talking about? Yeah, Miss Carter. There you go. What was I talking about? Now I lost my train of thought again. Talking about the Toe Hills. Yeah, I wonder about the Toe Hills, whether they would have made the right Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Has anybody in the chat actually seen their really acclaimed film called The Dig? Bill Murray's TCM. You never know. It could be good. So good. Tonight's agenda, we're talking about we're making suggestions on who actually could direct a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Now, I do have one particular pick. I won't get to it quite yet, though, because I want to hear more of your suggestions on who should direct a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. We know that the new film was essentially shot by the studio, even though this David Blue Garcia guy is the director. It was a studio film, by all intents, from all intents and purposes. Can't speak well tonight. I can never speak well. I don't know what's wrong with me. That's why I need to have guests. That's why I'm doing this, so I can do guests in the future, and I don't have to talk the whole time. You guys don't have to hear my lame ass stuttering all the time. So, and I'm not saying this David Blue Garcia guy couldn't have done a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, but it's pretty clear that he didn't make his film. He made the studio's film, and the Toe Hills didn't want to make the studio's film. At the end of the day, that was really what happened. The Toe Hill brothers didn't want to make that film, and and they were making their own film, and they may have had something they were very proud of, and the studio just didn't like it, and that's why they got fired, or they left for creative differences, whatever. Who knows for sure? But at the end of the day, it tells me that these Tohill brothers, the studio probably thought that they could bully them around, and they were like, "No, you can't bully us around, and you can't tell us to make this kind of film. We're gonna make our film." And the studios fired them for that. Simple as that. Gory Rory is in the chat tonight. Good to see you, man. Late to the live. Hey, it's all good, regrettably, but I hope all is well. And does voting for you count? I see. Yeah, a few people have said that already, but no, it doesn't actually, because we're talking about indie directors that have some. Well, it could be big studio directors as well. Steven Spielberg has already been mentioned tonight as a possibility, but we want to pick people that a studio could hire. Whereas at this time, I don't qualify. The studio wouldn't hire me because I don't have something big enough under my belt, big enough, successful enough under my belt as of yet. So even though I think I am the right person, we're talking about other people. But thanks for the vote of confidence, Gory Rory. And Chris Keane just joined the chat as well, late once again. Hey, so that's all good. We're on no set schedule. I haven't even got to some of my picks, which we'll get to. There's a bunch I'd go with Spencer. Maybe the guy behind The Witch would be cool too. I haven't seen The Witch, so I don't know what to say about that. I haven't seen it. Maybe I should. I'm one of those guys, I'm always skeptical on movies like that, though. So, you never know. I might like it, though. Oh, I'm sweating like a pig in here. I forgot to turn on my AC. I got the fan going, but I forgot to turn on the damn AC tonight. So, I probably look pretty glossy tonight there, guys. Do I look pretty glossy? Another person I want to talk about, I don't think this is necessarily a right person for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film now, but because he's had his chance. But I want to talk about the guy that directed the 2003 remake, Marcus Nispel, because I kind of dug his visual style. Even though it's maybe not 100% right for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, but his visual style, and there were certain elements of that film that I think really could have worked for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. And I think the problem for me was a lot to do with the story a little bit. I think, and from seeing him in interviews, the original script for that remake was something like 200 pages long. It was way too long for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. And he was like, I had to cut this script in half, to make the right film, more than half. And so that that's the thing. I think whoever does direct it probably has to be the writer too. I think you need a total visionary. I think you need somebody who's got a full vision. But I don't know if Marcus Nispel even is a writer himself, or who knows. I have to look at his IMDb a little bit more to see if he's written some films as well. But I think you need that kind of a package, though. I think you need that writer that is also a director, or a team of two people. One's a writer, one's a director. That's kind of what the original team of Tobe Hooper and Kim Henkel were. Toby was more the director, and actually Kim for the most part was the writer of the script, and Toby just added little things from what I've heard. Anyways, I don't quote me on this 100%, but for the most part, the idea of the film was really Kim Henkel's. But they were a team. And they collaborated together. But it worked out well. That collaboration worked out well. But you see, Tobe Hooper makes Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, not even close to what the original was. And you see Kim Henkel made Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Again, it's like they almost like they needed each other to make a good film. That's what I almost feel like. I feel like that with a few people. Which brings me to who I think could actually do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. And this might have to be my pick, even though It's a similar situation as Toby Hooper and Kim Henkel with these two guys. It's two guys that made a film and then never made a film together again after that. And they both had careers that are abysmal. So who I'm talking about here is Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. Now, maybe some of you might even be like, who the hell are those guys? Who are Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez? I hope I'm pronouncing their names right. Eduardo Sanchez sounds right, but Daniel Myrick, it could be Myrick. I don't know. Anybody in the chat know who those two guys are? They made one film together and then they split their ways. And none of their other films really caught on anywhere. But the film they made together was a masterpiece. Did he do Friday the 13th, 2009? No, or we're talking about Marcus Nispel. I think he did. He did 09, right? The 09 remake. Marcus Nispel also did that. I believe he directed that as well, yes. I'd love to see their take on TCM. Yes, Blair Witch Project. So the directors of the Blair Witch Project. I just look at their style, man. I look at the imagery, the disturbing imagery, the authentic performances from that film. I think they could actually make a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Maybe even a cool found footage version of it. Maybe. Not necessarily, but, I'm not saying they should do a found footage version. I think there could be a good found footage Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, though. I'll say that. There could be. But again, not saying that that's what they should do. But yeah, I'm glad Gory Rory got that, knew who I was talking about when I said their names. But again, just to say their names, would you know who they were? Not many people are going to be like, oh, those guys. Oh, yeah. Yes, but the Blair Witch Project. And I know that there's a lot of people that don't like the Blair Witch Project, and that's fine. But you look at some of the similarities, visually, the similarities, and performance-wise that they got from their actors, they did it very similar to the way, Toby Hooper and Kim Henkel got the performances out of their actors in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm just I'm nobody, guys. I'm a indie guy that's gonna make my fan film, and you never know, it might propel me further, and the studio will want me to make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film in the future. Who knows? But I think what a great opportunity for these two guys to reunite, who have struggled in their career. They became famous after their first film together, and struggled after that, and individually. I don't know why they never made another film together, because they did form some sort of a partnership or something. I had read somewhere they had some sort of film partnership, but they never directed a film together again or wrote another film together again. But they're both writer directors. They're both those types of filmmakers. And maybe they just did it on their own terms. Maybe they liked sticking to more low indie stuff, and that's cool. You look at the other films they made. It's not like they remade the Blair Witch Project every time. I haven't really seen any of the other films they made, but it doesn't really look like either of them kept making trying to recreate the Blair Witch Project. But I think they could. That would be, if I was to argue for somebody to make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, it'd be those guys, but I'd put them together. I just think that they're a team. They need to be together to do it. I'd actually put them together to direct it. But that's my take on it. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Okay. John from Doomsday Kingdom Army says, even more than a director needs a solid script. Yeah, for sure. The intro and outro of the 2003 TCM were essentially found footage. Yeah, so I picture a full film in that vein might be fun. I think it's possible. I think that's, you can, again, I'm not saying that they have to. I could see a good found footage Texas Chainsaw Massacre version being made. I think that's entirely possible from found footage. I think that's possible. Definitely, it's definitely possible. I wonder if Wes Craven could have done a TCM. I know he was kind of inspired by it, and you look at his style from the his earlier stuff in the '70s, possibly. But I don't think he really found his voice though as a director until the '80s, and until he did Nightmare and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, even though his visual style in the '70s kind of went that route, what he became known for and what he became good at was that '80s style, and I don't think that would really suit Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think so. But you never know. Like we tossed out Steven Spielberg earlier just because that guy can do anything. He really can. Spam Chucker's Castle. I think that's a newbie. I think. Sorry, man. That's an interesting. That's an interesting YouTube name. Gave the metal horns. Thanks, man. Thanks for the metal horns. If you're new here, please hit that like and subscribe button. Can't speak again tonight. I think the trouble is they try to talk too fast. I don't know. Do I talk too fast, guys? I don't know. When I get into stuff, I tend to maybe try to motor on a little faster than I should. But yeah, Jimmy, it's an interesting thought about Wes Craven, whether he could. Again, he's gone now, so you can't really choose him. He's dead. You can't choose it. We can't choose dead guys to do a TCM film. But it makes you wonder, like, if this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film comes out, say that it's Troy. Okay, hey Troy, how you doing? I had no idea that was you. That's awesome. That's really cool, man. I love your YouTube name, Spam Chucker's Castle. That is awesome. Give Troy some love, everybody. Go subscribe to his channel just because it's got an awesome name. I think so, anyways. What was I talking about again? You just made me laugh so hard with the name. Like, Spam Chucker's Castle. That's a new one. Love it though. Love it though. What were we talking about again though? We're still talking about Wes Craven. Can you tell I'm losing it, guys? Thanks, man. You rock, Troy. You rock. Yeah, we're you and I got to talk. I'm gonna have guests on this show in the future. I could see all of you guys being a guest on my show at some point, definitely. But again, I don't want to make the show just about having guests on every show as well. But I do plan to have my first guest on next week. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. Yes, with the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, say it comes out in January, they don't do reshoots and they just decide to drop it in January. Where's the studio going to go after this? What's going to happen? Is Legendary going to try to make another film? Are they going to try to do it again? That's the thing. What is going to happen? What is it going to take for the studio to say, okay, maybe we shouldn't invest a lot of money into the movie, but just find the right people to do it. And not that the $20 million budget is a big budget or anything, but when you if they were to try to actually do real distribution for it, like put it in theaters and have ad campaigns and lots of teaser trailers and TV spots and all that kind of that's expensive. That's double your budget. They're going to double their budget, if not more. I mean, that kind of stuff is expensive. The marketing is big for these movies, so it's doubtful they're going to want to spend that kind of money on a movie if it's crap, unless they truly believe that they can fix it with reshoots. From what I heard from that YouTube video from Mr. H, go check out Mr. H's channel if you haven't, and look for that. I can share the link to anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but that Mr. H reviews, where his source basically wrote a whole paragraph, wrote a whole letter spilling the plot of the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, and it's not good. It's if it's all true, if everything that he said was true, which I believe it is, I personally believe it was all true. You never know. It could be false. It could be somebody's just making shit up, but it didn't sound like it. You couldn't make that shit up. You couldn't make it up. Uh, the part about killing people over Instagram Live and like that was, you couldn't make that shit up. I mean, maybe you could, but I don't know. It's like it was pretty detailed. Somebody would have to be pretty bored to make that shit up. But man, it sounds like they would have to do a lot of reshoots to fix it. A lot, and it's. Do you invest some money into trying to polish a turd? Man, it's like when you break a musical instrument. If I broke my Takamine guitar, my acoustic guitar, if I busted it somehow and I tried to take it into repair, the repair guy would say it'll cost you less to buy a new one. So it's almost like, why don't they hire the right people and just make a new one and just forget about this film and not worry about not put so much money into it. You know, I know 20 million is not a lot. It's average for a horror film, probably for today's horror films, but still a lot of money. $20 million is, but it's nothing for, it's pocket change probably for Legendary. They'd probably be willing to cut their losses on it and call it a day. So it's hard to say what will happen. I don't know. I just don't know what the future will be if this movie is crap. If this movie's crap, are they actually going to try to do another? Maybe they'll say this was a mistake. This is a tainted franchise or something like that, and who knows where the rights will go. And then fan filmmakers like me are going to really be the only ones doing it. It would be nice to see an official Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, but I just think that I think it has to be given to a smaller company. A smaller indie company is the only, is the only thing that can do it. And by small, I don't mean like Blumhouse. I know people consider Blumhouse one of the smaller ones now. It to status like Legendary and whatnot, it is small, but Blumhouse has built a name for itself. It's become synonymous with horror films now. People know Blumhouse for horror. Not that they only do horror, but they do horror. But they also made that Black Christmas 2019 movie, and whether you like their movies or not, but they've been sticking to something that works all the time. Halloween 2018, it wasn't super expensive to make, but it made a lot of money. Like movies like Get Out and Don't Breathe, and those were all Blumhouse, and I think those budgets were like $5 million for all these movies, like $5 million. That was the formula he was going. Like, let's make these movies for cheaper. And again, $5 million is, if I had $5 million, holy crap, would I ever make the movie that I want to make? Yes, for sure. But for them, for a big studio that's really, really cheap, and good on them for wanting to do it a little bit cheaper and not necessarily go all out, and I don't know. So you just never know. I think though that Texas Chainsaw Massacre shouldn't even be made for $5 million. It shouldn't even be made for $1 million. In my opinion, it probably needs to be around a $500,000 type of movie. I could see $1 million, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like a big studio should be making this movie. And if it does, like, again, I had faith, guys, when I heard the news about the Toe Hills originally. When they got hired, not when they got fired, but when I first heard that news, that kind of got me excited because I heard the way that Fede Alvarez was kind of praising their visual style, and it sounded cool. It sounded like these guys got it, and they are indie filmmakers. These Toe Hill brothers were indie, and don't have a ton of movies under their belt or anything like that. They have enough though. They have enough, and they had one movie that has a lot of praise to it. So I mean, I think that says something, that maybe these guys could have been the right people to do it. So who knows? I hope that Legendary didn't just destroy all that footage they shot. I hope not, because maybe there's a good film there. maybe there's actually a good film there. Who knows though? I doubt we'll see it, but you never know. That would be pretty cool. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I don't want to blabber on too much. We can go on a little extra tonight, though. It's not a big deal because now that I'm moving these shows to 7 p.m. rather than 8 p.m. gives me a little bit more flexibility on the time. A little bit, anyways. I mean, I'm not going to be chatting here for a whole extra hour, but, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. And let me know if you guys have any other thoughts on who else could direct a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Do Ridley Scott be okay? His last few films have been awful. Yeah, I wouldn't think Ridley Scott would be a good choice for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But again, he's a big time director. His last, I think, this kind of goes hand in hand. Ridley Scott is another big director like Spielberg is, where he gets to make whatever the frick movie he wants to make. And I think that with Ridley Scott, I think he wants to make slightly more obscure stuff than maybe Steven Spielberg does. And that's okay. And that's why, his, people aren't going to like that style as much. So, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting thought whether Ridley Scott could do a chainsaw film. Maybe he wouldn't be a first pick though. I don't see much in his style that really says Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I could be wrong. I haven't seen all his films or anything like that either. So, but I've seen the big ones, obviously. So you never know. Doomsday. He directed Jaws, which back in the day was R rating. Now it's PG-13. No, Jaws was rated PG. If we're talking about Spielberg, yeah. Jaws was a PG. Nowadays, it would probably be rated R. Actually, probably, who knows? But back then, it was actually it got rated PG. Jaws is a PG movie, believe it or not. Troy is saying, what is Troy saying here? What if they change it up a little, like Friday the 13th, Part 9? Get rid of the chainsaw and replace it with a Taco Bell sour cream Huckling gun. I have an idea, man. Hit me up. Well, you are an idea, man, Troy. I love it. We should make a horror comedy. So what that says. Let's make a horror comedy. I love it. I love that. Kristen Spencer says the Blumhouse was supposed to be making. Sorry, I still think that's funny. Supposed to be making a Five Nights at Freddy live action movie, but it's delayed. Oh well. I don't know what that is, to be honest with you, Christian. Five Nights at Freddy's? Is that have to do with Freddy Krueger? Anyways, let me know. Agreed. The bigger TCM budget, the worse it will be. Yeah. Take away the gritty look TCM. Yeah. What more can you say than that? It needs to look like it was made with blood, sweat, and tears, and you need to be able to feel that when you watch it. That this movie was really put together with some major blood, sweat, and tears. Whereas these Hollywood movies, I think that's another issue I have with the remake. It doesn't feel like it had that blood, sweat, and tears put into it that the original had. Even though, if I'm being honest, if there's anything close that comes anywhere close, it's that remake. But and not the beginning. I know a lot of people like the beginning too. The beginning was just There's I don't know. It's no. I don't know. I have to rewatch the beginning, but I feel like the beginning just took was not subtle at all in its delivery. At least the remake had some subtlety to it, whereas that one there was like all subtlety was out the window. I get it, but no, it was too much. Video game at pizza shop animatronics come to life with and kill your character. I have never played. I guess I'm not much of a gamer anymore. Well, I am excited for the new Resident Evil movie that's going to come out. I heard a trailer is going to come out for that too. That's another movie I want to talk about one of these days, but we're not talking about that. But I am a little bit intrigued by the new Resident Evil movie. I did hear that the Spencer Mansion is going to play into it, at least in some degree. And that's my favorite thing about the original game, is that Spencer Mansion. And yeah, I kind of wish the whole movie would take place at Spencer Mansion, but it doesn't sound like it's going to. It's called Welcome to Raccoon City, as I recall. So, hey, it sounds cool though. I'm intrigued. I'm getting more and more intrigued for that Resident Evil movie, even though I'm not a zombie guy. But I love that original game. For whatever reason, I love the original game. I like the characters a lot too. I like the characters in the original game, and looks like most of them are returning, except Barry. Why is Barry not amongst them? Maybe some of you guys know. Anyways, we're not supposed to be talking about Resident Evil. Well, we'll save that for another day. Save that for another chat. Maybe I'll get somebody who can be a guest on this channel one time to talk about that. We'll see. Somebody who's a Resident Evil fan. Anyways. Yeah, so I don't know what will happen from here, guys. Any thoughts what you guys will think will happen? What happens if this movie turns out to be the turd that it looks like it probably will be? What will the studio do? What will Legendary Pictures actually do? Will they try it again? Or will they try to sell the rights to somebody else? Or, and, will it go through another big studio? Where is it going to go? We were just having, we had the Platinum Dunes films, and then they sold it to Millennium, and then they sold it to Legend. Are we going to keep seeing this, where it just keeps hopping between one studio after another? Are we going to see Blumhouse buy the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Are we going to, what are we really going to get? At the end of the day, I think that there's opportunity to make a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Have Cheetah Will View. That's a new one. As another new who are you a new chatter there? Have Cheetah Will View. I like it, but Godzilla versus Leatherface. Wow. I don't like those shared universe things, but that one actually sounds cool. Let's do it. Godzilla versus Leatherface. Oh, man. I know they'll probably sell the rights. Yeah, could be. I got a buddy who studies Resident Evil game series. He's an encyclopedia. That might be the right guest for the show. Because again, I really only played the original game. I know that a lot of the sequels were popular, but I kind of got out of video gaming after the original game. I kind of reverted back to old school 80s video games for either my Sega Master System or even NES. But yeah, I'll watch. I think Mandy's saying I'll watch a Godzilla versus Leatherface movie. Jimmy Presley's Indie Film Corner. I did like 2 TCM remake film. You did like the 2 TCM, and a lot of people do. I definitely don't like the beginning myself. It just wasn't subtle enough for me. It was just really kind of a gore fest more than anything else. But there are definitely a lot of aspects of the remake that I feel ultimately, though, it's still a bit of a missed opportunity for sure. But yeah, I know why people like those ones a lot for sure. But they're definitely the best ones we've had, the best ones we've probably had since the original. Actually, at least the remake was. But yeah, connected with you. Where are we connected through Instagram or I have no idea. But I love your name too. We got a couple interesting names for YouTube channels. Have Cheetah Will View. I like that. And Troy's name is pretty cool as well. No, it's awesome actually. Spam Chuckles Castle. Spam Chuckers Castle. I think that's great. Yeah. But do hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here. So, any other thoughts before we wrap this up there, guys? It's been a pretty good chat with you guys. Good for my first time doing it on StreamYard, that's for sure. I think I can use this going forward. Yes, Leatherface, Godzilla versus Leatherface. It's awesome. Connected with you here on YouTube. Oh, really? Jeez, why can't I remember you? Did you change your channel name recently? What was your channel name before? Was it always Have Cheetah Will View? I have no idea. I can't keep up with everybody now. Cheetah's a great guy, Steve. Oh, okay. So John knows him. I don't recognize the name. I honestly don't. But that's all good. Have you been in my live stream before? Did you change your name? That's what did you have a different channel name before? I don't recognize the name Have Cheetah Will View. Just connected 5 minutes ago. Oh, okay. So you're a new chatter then, is what you're saying. Okay. I thought maybe you're saying we had connected before this whole thing. Anyways, that's all good, man. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for tuning in. And who do you think should direct a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film? Who would be your pick? I haven't heard a lot of people praising Rob Zombie tonight, but and again, I'll get into why I don't think he should, just a little bit. Again, I think he's too explicit for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's more about let's show as much as we can as far as the gore and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think he focuses enough on getting the performances from the actors that he needs, personally. Like, he's had some pretty good actors in his movies. Like, I'm a big fan of Malcolm McDowell, and I really like Brad Dourif, and who else has he had in it? William Forsythe. But I feel like they haven't looked good in his movies. You know, they feel off. They don't feel like they're doing the performances they normally do. So I mean, they're not bad, but they're not as bad as, say, his wife, as Rob Zombie's wife is. But you know, I still feel like I'm not getting the performances out of them that I would normally get. And man, Rob Zombie's wife is, you know, I don't know. If Rob Zombie would just leave his dead wife out of his films, I know. There's probably a reason why his wife is only in his films. I've heard people say, "Oh, it's because there's some sort of contract or something involved." I don't know. I think that's BS. I don't think other people would hire his wife. I just don't think they would. That's just my personal opinion. I think his wife sucks. She probably swallows too, but that's all. I'm terrible. I know I'm terrible, but yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what he's going to do with the Munsters. You never know. I'm not sure if I'll watch it. I'm one of those guys, because I feel like I've given Rob Zombie his, I gave him a chance. I feel like I gave him a fair chance. I watched 4 of his films, and I think I got progressively more disappointed with each one. So after his Halloween 2, I was like, I'm done with this guy, you know. But at the same time, The Munsters is a different kind of horror, if you even want to call it that. So I'm just interested to know to see what he would do with it. But I'd have to hear good things first. I would have to hear good reviews, and maybe see a good trailer at least. Because there's been nothing in his other films that came after Halloween 2 that have enticed me to go see any more of his films. I haven't liked any of the trailers I've seen. I've always seen poor reviews online. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily makes them bad, but when you've given a director, 4 chances and he's let you down progressively more each time, it might just mean it's not your style. He's not a director for you. And anybody that's in the chat that likes Rob Zombie, that's cool, man. I'm not trying to put him down. I'm saying he's definitely not a filmmaker for me. I'll be honest, I don't even really like his music, if I'm being honest, other than the older White Zombie stuff. I like some of the older White Zombie, but I don't like his solo stuff. I never got into his solo stuff. I felt like it was kind of overly polished and uninspiring. But that's the musician coming out in me as well. Whereas I felt like some of that, kind of gritty sounding White Zombie was actually really quite cool. But I heard that I guess it was his ex-girlfriend or whatever, the bass player, uh, Sean something. Her name is Sean. It's weird for a girl's name, but that I heard that she was really the brains behind the music in White Zombie. I've heard that from a few people that she was the real kind of she was the real brains of that band. Anyways, from what I've heard. Don't quote me on that, but I've heard a few people say that. So maybe that's why I like some of White Zombie stuff, but I don't like Rob Zombie stuff. I don't think he's much of a singer. He's never been much of a singer. You know, I could take him or leave him. He's not the worst singer in the world or anything like that. He's not a singer I hear on the radio and I have to shut him off because his voice is so bad or anything like that. There are a few like that for sure. But you know, I don't listen to his voice and think, boy, this guy's got such a great. This guy's got a lot of great dynamics, and he's got good range, and he's got good. He's not one of those singers for sure. He's average at best. At best. Live Rob Zombie's. Oh, really? So and that's funny. I've heard others say that live he puts on probably maybe you're referring just to his singing, but I've heard that he does put on a cool show, a lot of theatrics and stuff like that. But it's kind of like Alice Cooper though too. Alice Cooper does a lot of theatrics, but his singing ability is not very good. At least not anymore. He was better back in the day, but not now. Alice Cooper can't sing worth a shit. Just that's the facts. But where was I going with that? But yeah, Rob Zombie's not a terrible singer from what I've, he's not the singer. He's not a singer I just shut off because his voice is annoying or anything like that. But I don't like his music though. I don't think his solo stuff, anyways, is not very good. But that's music too. But I had confidence in as a director. I remember when A House of a Thousand Corpses came out. And I was intrigued by it. I thought, it had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe for it. You could see the influence for it. But ultimately, I felt kind of disappointed from it. I felt like, too much over the top stuff. It felt very, it almost felt like a massive drug acid trip or something like that. Massive mushroom ride. I don't know. And those types of films just don't appeal to me. Even though The Big Lebowski is my favorite film of all time, but I don't know. There's something more creative in the acid flashbacks of the dude, and they don't overtake the film. There's a couple of them, and they're in a couple sections, and they're done very artistically. That they just feel right. I don't know. But same with like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The whole movie's just a big acid trip to me, and I can't get into it. I understand why some people love those movies, but it's not for me. I guess it's just not my. They're just not my kind of movie. Maybe that was another reason why I didn't really like Midsommar so much. It kind of felt like a massive mushroom trip, and yeah. It's just not for me. I guess I'm not really that kind of guy. I do like Cheech and Chong though. I'm a fan of some of their older movies, but different way of doing it, I guess. Oh, you're still there, but watching on your TV. Oh, so am I on like a big screen there? Do I look good in high def or no? Actually, we're not even. This is recorded from my phone, so I probably look blurry as fuck right now. It's all good. Oh man, what else are you guys saying in the chat? I have 3 Rob Zombie films, and yep, I paid $1 for each of them. Well, you paid more than I would have. That's all I can say. What 3 are they? Have Cheetah will view? What 3 films? Let me know. You're a TV star, Steve. Yeah. The quality of my video would have qualified me for a TV star back in the 90s, probably. This is probably about 90s quality, what you would have got back then. It's not even HD. I don't even think it's standard definition. I don't think so. So it's like 80s, 90s kind of quality you get out of my show. So that's probably what I look like. If you've seen a lot of stuff from the 80s, I probably look like that. Probably. Anyways, both Halloweens and Lords of Salem. I've never seen Lords of Salem, so I can't quote that one. I can't comment on that one. But I've seen both Halloweens, and it's like never again. I won't see them again. Nope, I won't do it. I won't do it. Anyways, so any other suggestions for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film before I wrap her up? We've been going for over an hour and a half now, about an hour and 40 minutes. So it's been a fun chat. Keeping it kind of loose. I like keeping these kind of loose, but I'm interested to know if there's other people. There's a few names that you guys suggested tonight that I need to check out now. Definitely. And who would have thought we would have brought up Steven Spielberg, and I would have been like, yeah, actually, he could do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. He could. So, there you go. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap her up, if that's all good with you guys. Steve, have you seen Three from Hell? No, I haven't. Like I said, I saw Rob Zombie's first 4 films, and I shut her down after that. I had enough. So, and I heard some pretty bad things about Three from Hell. I did. But I know some people like it. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me. I think I'll be back on Wednesday and finally with my first guest ever, which will be kind of cool. So make sure you check that out, okay? Have yourselves a good night, and thank you guys all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. And this StreamYard stuff is not that bad. I'm getting used to it. See you guys.